You already know that we're going to give 110% effort at every single thing that we commit to not only put shame to every single piece of shit involved in the business, but to also outdo ourselves. Because by God, we are the only competition we have here at Tennessee Technicians. And if you too want a project like what you're seeing right here behind me, you got to call me up at 423-503-0512. You already know how we do, and you too can have the best. Hey, would you rather have his house smelling like it was before you called me, or would you rather have his house smelling like it does right now? What is going on, guys? Tanner Flowers coming at you again from another brand new development right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And yet again, another brand new construction home where Hector and the team are inside the crawl space right now as we speak, putting the finishing touches on yet another brand new crawl space encapsulation project. And before I take each and every single one of you inside this new crawl space with us, I want to walk all of you right over here to the left side of the home and point out a couple interesting facts about this particular project. And as you will quickly see, this is nearly a full basement home. As a matter of fact, the only portion of this foundation that actually contains any crawl space whatsoever is right here above my head at that brand new foundation vent, going right up here to this front corner of the home. And that foundation vent, Hector just got that installed this past Friday. And up until that point in time, there was no ventilation around this entire foundation. And therefore, with these solid walls of the crawl space and not having any foundation vents whatsoever, all of those musky odors that were coming up from that dirt were coming inside this home. And as soon as my buddy would open these front doors up, he was smelling that muskiness from the crawl space, and that's how come he told Jeremy Munger about all of it. And Jeremy Munger's been my friend since I was a little kid, and Jeremy Munger said, if you got problems with your crawl space, there ain't but one person to call, and that's my buddy Tanner Flowers. I got on the horn here with my buddy. I was very impressed by him. Even though I've never met this man in person yet, we've only spoken on the phone, I admired what he said about himself. He himself owned his own construction business. He was quite successful at owning his own construction business. And then out of the blue at 30-something years old, he thought, you know, if I'm winning here, I can win at anything that I want to win at. And guess what he decided to do? Go to med school and become a freaking doctor. So congratulations to you. I give you all kinds of props in the world for the determination and the discipline that it took to achieve what you've done. And I hope that you, as a former construction business owner, are more than happy. I hope you're freaking blown away at what you're getting ready to see in this finished project video that we just completed for you right here at Tennessee Technicians. Thank you. And as you enter the home here, it's just a couple of steps right up here to your right, and you come to the basement door. And as I was saying, whenever he would open this door up, he's like, man, he said the smells would nearly knock you down. And that's because once we get right here to this first landing at the bottom of these steps, right over here to my left is the crawl space door entry. And you can see Hector and Adair down in there hard at work right now, cleaning up what last little bit of problematic water came from the HVAC condensate pump. That's right, his old HVAC condensate pump had been leaking, and Hector has just gone to Lowe's and gotten him a new one, and we're getting that switched out for him right now and getting all of that little bit of problematic water cleaned up. And normally, guys, I don't take you inside this crawl space until it's 100% finished, which it would be had the HVAC condensate pump not been leaking on us. But Hector's up here finishing up a bit of plumbing right now, and I would appreciate each of you watching to take a few moments of your time and take a look at what all of this looked like just a couple of days ago whenever we began this brand new project. You never ever know what you're going to encounter inside a crawl space on one of these new construction builds. You guys just seen in the most previous video over at my buddy Brian's new house, that crawl space was level picture perfect. And then you climb inside this one right here and it's got a freaking mountain inside of it. Guys, you could come in behind 10 totally different builders and experience 10 completely different situations that require 10 totally different remedies. Along with all the dirt work that's going on right now, guys, Hector and I just finished out our plans for our only one humidistat fan that will be the exhaust of this job. But bear in mind, just like you've seen in the before inspection photos, look at that giant mound of dirt. We're all under here taking bets. I'm betting right along with Hector that the new ground level's probably going to be somewhere right in here, which is literally more than half of that giant mound taken out. Stay tuned, guys. This is going to be a crazy transformation once this one's done. You guys all seen that giant mountain of dirt, and you're probably wondering, I bet there's no way those guys got all of that dirt level. Well, think again, baby, because it don't happen by accident. What you are looking at, this absolute perfection that you're used to seeing in every single Tennessee technician's finished project video, it all comes from hard work from a team of people like you see right here behind me. Guys, it don't happen by myself. I don't do it alone, and you guys all watching need to recognize whenever we show up to the project, it's going to get done better than anybody you could have ever gotten to come over to your house and do a project for you. And as I get right up here inside this corner, behind me is basement. Right over here to my left is also basement. And just directly here in front of me was the dreaded trench of death. Guys, can you remember just coming inside that crawl space entryway? The old landing, they had built that and just laid it right there on top of the dirt. And if you had fallen off of that landing anywhere down inside this trench, I don't know that you would have ever gotten outside of it if you didn't have anyone underneath here to rescue you. But that old landing no longer exists, guys, and no longer does the dreaded trench of death. As a matter of fact, when you get up here onto the new crawl space entry steps, this should provide for an excellent view of the entire project as I slowly pan left. And as I am panning left, I would also like to note, whenever we began this project, that exterior wall of the home down there, as well as this exterior wall right here to my left, did not have any insulation inside of these joists. So all of that was open to the elements. However, the joist areas of the walls that were meeting the basement portion of the home, they had all been insulated. And our R19 poly-encapsulated insulation that you always see us using, it is on back order right now, but I did have just enough inside my warehouse to finish this project up, and I'm so glad that we were able to do so. It feels tremendously different under here already, and keep in mind, Hector and Adair, they don't even have the dehumidifier plugged up yet. And before I brought you guys with me inside this crawl space, while we were still outside, I mentioned that brand new foundation vent that Hector installed this past Friday. And if we were to pull those pieces of insulation down, you would see the solid plywood backing. And that is exactly what was right here in between these two joists as well. And what I had Hector do was frame in all of that with our galvanized steel. That has a lip up there in the upper and a lip in the lower. And behind all of that metal, all of that is insulated as well with our R19 poly-encapsulated insulation. And just above that is our one humidistat fan that we installed on this project. As always, guys, that is the exhaust of our crawl space encapsulation project. And as soon as Hector got that thing installed and running this past Friday, guys, it wasn't just a couple hours time. The homeowner was already texting me, telling me how much better it smelled inside the living quarters of the home. So to any of you listening, if you doubt that any of these crawl space encapsulation projects, now don't be comparing apples and oranges here, guys. Do your best to get all around the YouTube, go all over the internet, and try to find a comparable project to this one. Because let me just go ahead and save you some time. The only place you're going to find it is right here at youtube.com/Tanner Flowers. Subscribe if you haven't done so, or over on our website, crawlspaceartist.com. And I would like to get each of you watching to start thinking for just a few moments and ask yourself this. This house was already stinking before this man had ever heard my name. This crawl space was already sealed up before this man ever dialed my phone number. And now let me ask yourself, do you A, think that this crawl space was sealed up more before we did this project? Or B, do you think this project is more sealed up right now than it has ever been since this crawl space has even came into existence? I already know the answer. And I've already been told over the course of these past 3 days how much of an improvement.
You talk too much, man. Let me see the scissors. Do something.
Gotta go to work for a moment. I'll be right back. You got it? And I wish he was standing right over here at this door to ask him right now, because I'd say, hey, would you rather have his house smelling like it was before you called me? Or would you rather have his house smelling like it does right now? Because I know what he's going to say. And what he doesn't know is this system is not even fully up and running yet. We're about 10 to 15 minutes away. And if he thinks he's seen an improvement over the course of these past 3 days, just wait and see what you're getting ready to experience over the course of these next 48 hours. And while this crawl space may not have had the most square footage, it was a very, very tall crawl space. And for that reason, I chose to install our big Santa Fe Advanced Dehumidifier system. And on all of our Santa Fe dehumidifiers, I will always like to set them right down here around 7 to 7:30. You want to make sure you got your switch set to auto. And guys, what will happen is, as the water is pulled from the air, it will send that water out this drain line and into our condensate pump, where as that fills up, it will trip a float switch and send that water up and into a P-trap that Hector just completed plumbing a few minutes ago. And as Adair is over here vacuuming out the final remnants of debris from this project, I would like to take a few moments and brag about the new crawl space steps that Hector and Adair and Valentine built. We've got 2 brand new 4x4 posts. Those are dug down and concreted in the ground, just as you would do on any deck build. Let's go over here and take a look at the type of quality we have taken to ensure that this thing is mounted and secured to the concrete foundation properly. And let's look right here at how flush that new first step is right there with the entry. Check it out, guys. Just like on anything you see us doing here at Tennessee Technicians, I mean, in a freaking crawl space, because you already know that we're going to give 110% effort at every single thing that we commit to not only put shame to every single piece of shit involved in the business, but to also outdo ourselves. Because by God, we are the only competition we have here at Tennessee Technicians. And if you too want a project like what you're seeing right here behind me, you got to call me up at 423-503-0512. You already know how we do, and you too can have the best. And guys, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us in another finished project video, and I can't wait to talk to each and every single one of you inside that next project video. And as I get right up here inside this corner, God damn it, Tanner, fucking that old landing that was right there, just laid and built right on top of the dirt, I might add. God damn it, Tanner. Ugh. And before we came inside the crawl space, while we were still, God damn it, motherfucker. While we were still, and as soon as Hector got that thing installed, on all of our advanced unit installs, I like to set that dial right there around 7 to 7:30. Always make your He said whenever he go inside these front doors right here, he could... The only portion of this home that has a crawl space foundation is just right up. And the reason that this homeowner was complaining to my buddy Jeremy Munger, who I've been friends with as long as I can even remember, when I was 15 years old, I used to work at Cleveland Chair Factory because my mama had worked there for over 30 years. And Jeremy Munger's daddy, Wayne Munger, if you were willing to give him whatever was after the decimal point on your check, come Friday evening, Wayne Munger would cash that check for you. So Big Wayne, he'd have a line of people just waiting on him to cash that check for him.
What's wrong with you?
Man.
You scared me. Somebody was screaming out here. I thought it was like, what's going on out there?
God, did you guys feel the heat that I was just giving in that clip? Hector, man, you just put out some fire, bro.